everyone. I wish you a very happy new year 2019. I hope it's going to be an amazing year for you. And in this video I'm going to talk about the new energies coming in for this new year, what we can expect. So now we have closed the year 2018, which was a pretty intense year, I have to say, for many of us. On an emotional level, there was a lot of healing, transformation and cleansing. And really the theme of 2018 was to learn how to let go of things. And especially things that we thought were right for us, or that we were taking for granted. We had to learn to let them go and see things coming to an end. So it was very much a year that was manifesting pain and also grief to see these things disappear from our life. But it was necessary because all these things did not serve us anymore on our path, and all of this was to prepare us for this new energy that is entering in 2019. So I talked about this already in a video when I did it in August about the lion gates and the eclipses that were going on. So the eclipses that were going on in August really were preparing us in a way for what is going to happen in 2019. So it's like a new door opening, it's a new energy. And this new energy started on the 5th of January with the eclipse, the solar eclipse in Capricorn, and the new moon. But the energy is going to rise crescendo. So for me, the real new year is actually the equinox of spring. And actually it was like that before. So it's a bit the Romans' fault with their Julian calendar that now the new year is in January. But for me, the real new year begins in spring, and we will see that the energy is really going to be launched in spring. So this is like the launching pad really for a new beginning and a new expansion for many of us. Each path of evolution is very unique and personal, I often say that. So all the messages that are given here are really general tendencies, and that's why I use the word forecast and not prediction, because nothing is chiseled in stone. So it's really up to you to see and feel where you are on your path and what resonates with you, what might not resonate with you as well. So one of the main things that I feel for 2019 and concerning this expansion that I was talking about, really it's related to the light workers, it concerns the light workers. So many of us are on this path for many years now. We have been healing ourselves, we have been freeing ourselves for many years, almost relentlessly working on ourselves. And as we did that, we helped free our family lineages, and when we do that, we also help, of course, the human collective, so help freeing the human collective from all these dark patterns. So finally, what we are going to experience in 2019 is that all we have accumulated all these years is going to be able to manifest into the world. And so, several years ago, when you were in spirituality or in the self-help field, it's almost like you had to hide yourself from the rest of society. It's like because there was so much judgment concerning these themes, and now it's really going to change because the world is awakening, the masses are awakening, and also concerning all these conspiracy theories that were always ridiculed. Now we're starting to see that many of these conspiracy theories are actually exposed as the truth, and so many people are going to be more and more interested in what we have to say and interested in going in this direction of evolution and awakening, so interested in spirituality and self-help. So there will be a huge boom and a radical shift concerning these subjects in the near future, and this is why we have been prepared for so many years. Is that we are the guides, we are the ones guiding humanity through this awakening. The main message I received for 2019 was, and actually I had a dream about it because I had a dream where I was channeling the information and just talking. And while I was dreaming, I was asking, the universe, please anchor this information into my being so I can remember it the next morning. And of course, when I woke up the next morning, I didn't remember the information, but I had the energy and the feeling of the dream. So when I meditated, I could really reconnect with the information directly. And this message is that there is going to be a massive activation of the light workers' hearts and a massive activation of the light body of the light workers in 2019, which is the body of the fifth dimension. So what will happen is that we are going to be able to more and more radiate love from our hearts and light from our body, and this will have a huge impact on the outside world. So for example, we will be able to enter a room, a pretty charged energetically room, or where we feel the energies are pretty negative or dark, and just by stepping into the room it's going to dissolve the darkness around us. So that is one thing, and the other thing is of course that we can travel with our consciousness and our light bodies in specific places, so remote places. I'm thinking specifically maybe about situations where there is conflict, where there are demonstrations or violence on the streets. We don't need to be physically present, but we can really travel with our consciousness and our light bodies into these specific areas and bring more light. And of course, our physical presence has also a very huge impact on our surroundings, especially people. So they will receive the energy on a vibrational level, of course, but also it's going to work on them on a subconscious level. So they're not going to be aware of it, but our presence will have a major impact on their energy and their process of awakening. The only condition for that is that we must really be grounded into our bodies. And we must balance out the higher chakras with the lower chakras. Because as spiritual beings, we have a tendency to be very much in the higher chakras and not, take care of the lower ones and not ground ourselves enough. But it's really important that we do so to have a better impact on the others, on our earthly plane. This new dimension of being and radiance that we will experience in 2019 will also push us into more alignment, into our authenticity. So this means we must be aligned with what we think, what we say, and what we do. That's the famous congruence. So that's really the cornerstone of our destiny on a collective and personal level, is to be aligned with that. And what I've been shown is that everything will be amplified in 2019 and onward. So everything will be magnified. So everything that is not aligned with that will have a direct impact on us. And I also think of the fall of all these gurus, these spiritual leaders, these avatars. And we've seen by the end of 2018 what happened with John of God and his dismissal. And this was, for me, really a very straightforward message to the spiritual community, saying, look, if you want to guide humanity towards this new and this awakening, then you must put your own house in order before. And this is going to continue, of course. Jupiter was in Scorpio last year, now Jupiter is in Sagittarius, and these are two signs that are really on a quest for truth. So the truth is going to come out more and more. What is also going to come out in the very near future is all concerning pedophilia and the child sex trafficking and child sex slavery that is present in the high ranks of power and also show business. I've already spoken in the past about these two worlds that are separating, so like two continents that are drawing apart from each other, one representing the old and the other the new. So in 2019, the split will be very much radical. On one side there's going to be people in fear, on the other people in love, and it's going to be very polarized and dualistic and almost impossible to be in between. So we are the first wave of ascension, and we are here to really ground and anchor this new energy and the energy of the new earth. The second wave of ascension has already begun, and it is really massive. It's a massive awakening. It's going to continue, of course, in 2019, and we've seen what happened in the past months with the Yellow Vest movement in France that started in France. It's part of that wave. And the difference between the first and the second wave of awakening is that the first one was very much experienced kind of isolated from society, on our own, a bit marginalized. And the second wave is much bigger, actually, and it is occurring in a direct and sometimes violent confrontation with the system. And this will lead eventually to the dismantling of the system. So it's kind of different, but they all serve a certain purpose, and this movement, this Yellow Vest movement, will of course continue. And it's almost like France is taking the role of a rebel leader in a sense of this mass awakening, setting the example for other countries, because this will also expand to other countries very soon. And I feel that by the end of March, maybe April, it's gonna really gonna rise up. The energy is gonna rise up, and this will expand to other European countries, and ultimately, maybe a bit later, but it's also going to spread in the US. So this will lead to many years of chaos, and we should not be scared of it. You know, I'm someone who really doesn't stand violence. I can't even watch a violent movie, but it's almost impossible to avoid the violence, because when you dismantle a system that is so anchored in our society, in our world, sometimes you have to go through violence. So regarding this famous economic crisis, all I've seen was black, so like a blackout. And this reminded me, of course, of the Black Tuesday of the 1929 crisis. So 1929, 2019, who knows? There might be some agitation like on the markets by the summer, and I don't know what's going to happen beginning of September, but I feel it's not going to be a calm period at all. And this is preparing the energy, the peak of energy that will happen in 2020 with the triple conjunction of Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, which brings radical changes to the world on a political, economical and society level, so the world will be shaken. Concerning climate and weather, it's going to be a perfect mirror of what is happening on Earth, so it's going to be pretty chaotic and unpredictable. And what I've also seen, I had visions of gatherings like circles around fires, ceremonies and rituals. So we really need to come together and celebrate Earth. We really need to show Gaia our presence and our support for what is happening currently. And also the message was that it's no longer time to stay isolated from each other, because in the past years we really had to be like in introspection because we were healing, etc. And now this period is gradually coming to an end, and we really need to join forces together. And so all group activities will really be enhanced this year. We really need to find our soul group, our tribe, people that we feel good with, and just, you know, experience this solidarity with each other, but also show our presence to Mother Earth. Many souls will enter the 5th dimension also this year, and so I've spoken about this also in the past. This doesn't mean that we are leaving behind the 3rd and the 4th dimension and then we are traveling far, far away to a completely different plane of existence, which is the 5th dimension, because all these dimensions will continue to coexist with one another for some time. We will continue to perceive these different dimensions, it's just that we won't be affected by them. And it's also a progressive process, so there's a lot of back and forth going on, you know, back and forth movement to the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, until finally we are anchored into the 5th dimension. So how do we know when we are really anchored in the 5th dimension? Well, first of all, we don't have the need to control our life anymore, because we live from the heart and from our faith. So everything that happens to us really manifests in a perfect, synchronistic way. Abundance flows naturally, we don't even have to pay attention to it. We all always have what we need when we need it, and there's no effort in that. And then there's also this really authenticity going on with the connection that we have with others. So there's a deep and intimate connection with the other. There are no more battle of egos. We also feel very much connected to nature, to the cosmos, to the whole, and this really fulfills us completely, and we have this feeling of peace and joy. So I really wish you for this new year 2019 to fill your hearts with this love, this peace and this joy, and enjoy also the ride and the expansion. Sat Nam.